As we come together at the annual meeting for the 10th time and reimagine our impact going forward, it's imperative that we evaluate what's worked, what hasn't, and what remains to be done. By examining the progress made to date, we can all be more efficient and effective in the years ahead. So we started by taking stock of all the work that's been done by members of the CGI community since our very first meeting in 2005. There are remarkable success stories, data, and trends that we can learn from in the nearly 2,900 commitments to action made from 2005 through 2013. Of these, 41.8% have been completed, 39.9% of commitments are still working toward meeting their initial goals, 46 commitments are stalled, and 139, or about 5% of the total commitments made, have been unsuccessful. Each of this last group in particular can be an excellent case study, because they haven't failed for lack of effort or lack of trying. In fact, these may be the richest stories from which we all can improve our work. True to our mission and model, we ask each commitment maker to report progress on their work annually. When a commitment has not reported back to us in 2 years, we remove its impact metrics and value from our portfolio. These commitments can be reactivated at any time, but we want to be honest about where people are doing work now. Currently, 11.8% of commitments made since 2005 are in this category. We remain obsessed with the how. In this instance, how have commitments achieved interim or final goals, and how have approaches changed since 2005? Topically, we saw an emphasis in earlier years on more indirect activities such as awareness raising, policy and advocacy, peace building, and donations. Over time, commitments became more focused on more direct interventions, such as skills development, access to capital, the STEM fields, and access to education. We've seen that purely donation-based commitments have and continue to become less common than those directly implementing a program. The total number and value of these commitments made each year has declined, and today, they represent less than 3% of the entire commitment portfolio. We've also seen members of the CGI community mobilize in the aftermath of a disaster or crisis. Commitments in Haiti are a strong example of this trend. After the hurricanes and tropical storms in 2008, and again in 2010 after the earthquake, the number of commitments focused on Haiti spiked. And while the overall number of new commitments made each year in Haiti since 2010 has declined, over half of all commitments focused on Haiti are still ongoing. This demonstrates the commitment of CGI members to lasting and sustainable solutions, instead of just short-term relief efforts in the immediate aftermath of a disaster. In response to member requests, over time CGI began to focus on specific topics to help drive more coordinated action. For example, of commitments made in 2009, girls and women was the most common focus area, influenced by its emphasis at the 2009 annual meeting. In 2011, the year of the first meeting of CGI America, which focused on U.S. economic recovery, there was a sharp increase in the number of new commitments to spur job growth at both CGI America and the annual meeting. And the establishment of the Oceans Action Network in 2013 led to a series of new ocean-focused commitments. These are just a few such examples. Networks of creative cooperation and cross-sector partnerships have increased since members first came together 10 years ago, and have become even more central to the CGI model. As part of that trend, cross-sector partnerships between at least one corporation and an NGO more than doubled. We've also seen a higher success in reaching goals. This shouldn't surprise anyone. Given the magnitude of the problems we're trying to solve, partnering across sectors can be far more effective than going it alone. Finally, we compared our commitments data against what we know about the world using World Bank data to ask ourselves, are commitments active in the most critical geographies? For example, clean energy and climate change commitments are generally concentrated around areas with the highest emissions, but there are a few notable exceptions in high-emission countries, like Russia and parts of Eastern Europe. We also looked at HIV/AIDS prevalence around the world and saw that the volume of commitments generally corresponds to the countries with the highest burdens of disease, but are not proportionally addressing Latin America or Eastern Europe. Should the CGI community be working to address areas currently underserved by CGI members' commitments? These are questions we look forward to answering together. As we reflect on what's worked and what hasn't, we challenge all members of the CGI community to dig into the why behind these trends and data points, to better inform the what, and yes, the how, we do our work going forward. There are lessons to be learned from every success and every failure. By better measuring and assessing the outcomes of our work and rethinking how we collectively create and sustain true impact, we can evolve to better meet the challenges of today while preparing for the pressing needs of tomorrow.